As we do in each lecture, this is the mental break time. Now, in US and Canada and so on, and Europe, there are lots of jokes about blondes. You know what is a blonde. Any girl, beautiful girl, which has especially golden type of hair is known as blonde, and it is just like some places they make jokes about Pathans and Sardarjis, so some places they make jokes about blondes. But it is based on a certain belief also that Allah Ta'ala, God, is very generous, but He gives things equally to people. So if someone is very intelligent, mostly they don't look very good, they are not beautiful. If somebody is very beautiful, then they will have little intelligence and so on. It is not necessarily true. Some very intelligent people are very good looking, but this blonde thing, that if you are a very pretty lady with a lot of blonde hair and so on, then on the intelligence side. So okay. So, but this joke we can have on you or me or any friend also. So this blonde girl goes to the main office of BMW and asks the person, where is the manager's office? He said, tell me please, I will, yeah, no, tell me the manager's office. So ultimately she goes to the manager's office and she is very angry. But he recognizes her. He said, oh, how are you and this and that. But he said, don't do that, how are you and I'm very angry with you. He said, what is the problem? She said, I just bought a brand new 5 Series BMW last week and it is such a big cost and so on, but it does not run properly. Now he said, lady, I am very surprised. A BMW and a 5 Series, we do a very, very good quality check and so on. It can't be. She said, do you think I'm lying to you? It does not run properly. He said, maybe, he was very, apologetic, that maybe you are doing something wrong. She got even more angry. Do you think I am a fool? I know exactly what I am doing, but it does not run properly. He said, oh, okay, please tell me, we'll try to remove the fault. She said, during the daytime, I put it on D gear, daytime D gear, and it runs very nicely. At night time, I put it on N gear, it does not run. Joke is over. We were telling you about hardness, how is it measured schematically, and that hardness is also a resistance to wear on a machine, on different parts. Now here is one scale, natural materials, plastics, brass and alloys, easy to machine steels, file hard type of steels, cutting tools, nitrided steels and diamond. So this is increasing hardness. You know, everybody knows that diamond is the hardest known material. So we can have a rough idea that plastics and polymers are lowest on hardness of the engineering materials we know, and steels and so on are in the middle. And there are some specialty steels which have higher hardness, and diamond is very hard, right? So, but you know also that we are not mentioning here ceramics. Ceramics are also very large on hardness. Now we are showing you an actual machine. This is a Rockwell hardness testing machine, again named after the engineer scientist who invented this machine. This is exactly the machine, the Rockwell hardness machine, this picture of the machine that we have in our properties of materials lab. If you were doing labs this time, then you would be using this machine. So this machine has a diamond type of indenter, and right, it is there, and we force it into the piece, it goes down, it creates this shape, and the height or the thickness that it has put a shape in, to combined with the machine force that they know, it gives the number, and it directly gives the number. There is a machine in the properties of materials lab which is an analog machine, same Rockwell hardness, but the reading will be with the needle and marks, and this one is a digital one, and the reading that comes is HR, Rockwell hardness, and there are scales A, B, C depending on the material. Here we are showing you different hardness measurement systems that are there in the world. different people, different engineers invented different methods of measuring hardness independent of each other. And each machine is a good machine. So it depends on you which machine you use. So there is the Brinell hardness testing, Vickers hardness testing, Knoop, the K like knowledge is not knowledge, so it is not Knoop, it is Knoop hardness measuring, and then Rockwell, 4 of them. So the indenter, here it is a sphere, here it is a diamond type, here it is a diamond type of a larger diameter. In Rockwell, we have a diamond type or a sphere ball type. So, right, this is the top view. And then there is some load, P. There is some load. And in Rockwell, rather than the load, they give the mass of the load. They give the mass of the load. And then there is the formula. There is the formula that you see there is a capital size D of the machine, and there is a small size d of the indentation. Remember, right? This capital D is the size of the ball that is used in the machine, and this small d is the size of the indent, of the size of the indentation that was there on the surface, and the load that you applied was P. So you put that in this formula and you get a number, and that becomes the Brinell hardness number. Similarly, there is a formula and that number becomes the Vickers hardness number. There is a formula and that number becomes the Knoop hardness number. There is some formula and so on. And here the ball or the diamond could be of 60 kilogram force, 150 kilogram, 100 kilogram. So if you use this one, then the Rockwell hardness is A scale, C scale, D scale. So, right. But the thing is that all this calculation we don't need to know, because after doing this calculation, a number comes and the machine directly reads that number. So for example, for metals like steels and so on, Rockwell hardness C scale is used, C scale. So it means that they use a diamond indenter with a 150 kilogram load, 150 kilogram multiplied by 9.81, you will get the load. So this 150 kilogram. And then the machine measures and a number comes. So 20, 25, 30 HRC. So you don't need to calculate whatever is happening inside. You just take the piece to the machine. You bring the indenter down so that it just touches it. Press a button. The indenter with the standard force will go inside, be there for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds sometime, and then the machine will automatically remove the indenter back up. And the machine has measured that how much it has gone inside the material. So after a few seconds on the dial, it will come 25 HRC. So that is it, the number is known. Now, if you compare different materials, one is 20, one is 25, one is 30, one is 40, you know this is harder, this is less hard. So you don't need to know the actual calculation. We will not do that. And you will know hardness just by the direct number, right? So Brinell's machine, Vickers machines, Knoop's machines, Rockwell machine. And in our lab, we have Vickers machine also, and we have Rockwell machine also, but in the standard test, we use the Rockwell machine. In the Rockwell machine, if the metal is soft, like if it is aluminum or some types of brasses and so on, they are softer materials, so then we use the A scale, because if you see in A scale, we use a force of only 60 kilogram. Because if we use a large force and it is a soft material, then rather than making a small dent, it will go all through the material and it will break and fracture it. So therefore you have to select a proper one. So for softer materials like aluminums and brasses, we use the A scale, and for harder materials like standard steels and so on, we go to the C scale in hardness. So with this, we have finished the hardness part also. So now you see, as far as your labs are concerned, we have done all the 3 types of work that we needed to cover. We have done all the 3 types of work that we needed to cover. You know the tensile testing machine or the universal testing machine, right? And after the stress strain diagram, you can find 6 different properties. You know the impact testing machine now, the Sharpie impact testing machine. You can find only impact toughness of the material. And you know the hardness testing machine, you can find only the hardness. So 6 properties from tensile testing. The properties are elastic modulus or Young's modulus, yield strength, ultimate strength, ductility, resilience and toughness. Resilience and toughness are a little rough. All other four are very accurate. Then from Sharpie impact testing machine, the impact toughness of the machine in joules, in energy units. And from the hardness machine like Rockwell hardness, the hardness of the machine in Rockwell hardness numbers, right? So for all the labs that you want to do, now you have covered the material, right? So sometime later we will post some videos where you can see the lab work. Unfortunately, you already know that there are now more restrictions in the country. From today, there is again 2 weeks of lockdown and so on, and it is happening because there is more coronavirus outbreak and so on. So there is no apparent chance of all of you coming to the university soon. We can pray, and that is it, right? So until now, this is what we have done. Now what I am showing you here, that in the numbers that I am showing you are according to the Smith and Hashmi book. If you have a Callister book, this number will not be there. But even if it is a Callister book, then here there will the next topic is plastic deformation of metal single crystals. Plastic deformation of metal single crystals. It is important in material science, but we are not covering it. I am not leaving it for you to read. It is not a reading assignment. This section in Smith and Hashmi, it is section 6.5. You can find from the appendix or from the table of contents which section is it in Callister book. But metal single crystals, if you had done the crystal structure, you will see that every metal, every normal metal has millions of crystals. Even a small piece has millions of crystals, because the crystals are at nanometer size. So to have a material of a single crystal, I have a 1 kilogram and it is one single crystal. This is very, very, very special. We make them for incredibly special type of engineering applications in magnetism and in optics, light and so on. But otherwise, we never use single crystal materials. All the metals that you use in all normal engineering everywhere in the world is polycrystal. So therefore, the single crystal business is important, but not so important for a first course. Therefore, we will not cover the plastic deformation. So, right, until now there were tests and properties, right? Tests and properties. Now we are talking of what happens when a material is plastically deformed. So this section is just the heading, plastic deformation of polycrystalline metals. Plastic deformation of polycrystalline metals. This we will definitely do, right? This we will definitely do. And in this, the first topic is effect of grain boundaries. We will see. We will just show you and so on. But this is the first topic, right? We will go through it, of course. But now that as we plastically deform some material, and especially in metals, because the whole chapter is properties of metals, right? Properties of metals. So when you permanently plastically deform a metal, then what starts to happen inside the material? That is the topic now.